goals are meant to give us direction. Because in this day and age, there's so much happening. There's stimuli everywhere you look. You have your phone, you have TV, you have advertisement, you have people telling you about things. So your attention can just drift and be completely swayed from here to there to whatever the current agenda is. All right, welcome everybody to an episode where we're looking at the camera while we speak because we're trying new things. So, in today's episode, because it's the beginning of a new year, we decided to start with goal setting.
As everybody does.
Yes, the New Year's resolutions that always fall short, and by the end of January, everybody quits. But today, hopefully, we will give some tips and tell some experiences of how it has been for us, so you don't make the same mistakes, and you can have some cool New Year's resolutions that you will work with throughout the year.
Exactly. Not just throw them away after January, but actually use them throughout the whole year. There's a little secret to that. Yeah.
Is there?
I think so. Yes. Yeah, for sure. No. Like, there's a different way I think that we adopted in using goals for the upcoming year. And we will reveal that soon.
Okay.
A little bit tension there.
So much suspense. So, to give some background, I did my master's thesis on goal setting. And I designed this experiment with 20 people that we will do 3 sessions. So we will get together and do 3 group sessions where we will goal set it. We will set some goals under certain parameters, and then we will visualize those goals happening. So the first session was great, and everybody was setting really cool goals, and they would set like from 1 to 5 along different categories. Like you shouldn't repeat categories. Like it was, I don't remember them now, but it was like health, family, career, things of that nature. And then they would choose which categories they wanted to set goals in and set a goal for each of those. The caveat was to set the goals in a way that they felt excited about the thing and that they were able to visualize it. And then afterwards in the same session, we would go into visualizing them, like time passing and them achieving that goal for like in the next 90 days. And the results were still pretty significant. Like in scientific terms, they were highly significant, but it was a small sample. And there was a pandemic in the middle, so then that made it very complicated. Like around day 30 is when the pandemic hit, and then all the results from there were complicated to interpret. But the good thing is that when people would set concrete, achievable goals, they would achieve them. Like for the most part, there were, I think, 5 people that set as a goal to move out of their apartment, and they ended up doing that within maybe even 30 days before the end of the study. And then there were others that were like getting more plants in my apartment or reaching out to my mother, doing things that were centered in themselves. Those also had like about an 80% completion rate. So let's break that down and see what these people did that made them achieve those goals. There's the general rule of SMART goal setting, which is specific. SMART is an acronym, and it says S is for specific. You need to have a specific target. The M is measurable. You need to know when you achieve that. A is achievable because you need to feel that you can reach that place. R is...
Yes, T is time bound.
R is
is R? Write in the comments.
Roar. Roar for fierce goals.
What is missing?
I don't know. Doesn't matter. Probably was not relevant.
Not that.
Relevant! That was the word!
There we go.
Thank you, subconscious. So relevant is that it means something to you. So, and the T, time bound. So I only took a couple of those elements when I was giving instructions to set goals, and those were that it needs to be relevant. The one that I forgot. But it needs to be relevant to you. And that's because the more relevant it is, the more you will concern yourself with it, and the more things you will do to reach that goal. Then the other one was concrete or measurable. So this means that you can just measure it somehow. It doesn't have to be an exact measure, but you can say like, I want to make 2 new friends this year, or I want to call my mother 3 times throughout the year. I mean, those are pretty reasonable goals, and it's still there's this measure of success. So that's always something good to include if you can. It doesn't apply to every goal, but like for example, learn how to cook. Like it's like I will learn 45 new dishes, but you can say something like I will cook every other day, or I will try 5 new ingredients. So you can bring that down, that abstract idea of I will learn to cook, to I will learn this 5 recipes from Asian cooking. And it was relevant, measurable, and
what else did you use?
I don't remember. I'm
Well,
having
you have
a brain fart
one.
day.
Well, you do have a specific one that was in there as well. A specific aspect.
Okay.
If you have a measurable one, it needs to be, or it should be something specific as well, I think.
Yeah.
That was in your thesis too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's almost the same.
Yeah.
So that's it. And then you visualize it. You imagine yourself creating those 5 recipes, or you imagine yourself meeting those 2 new friends and how that's gonna go. And then life's magic just happens, and then you encounter people that are a perfect match to the friendship that you were looking for, or you just run on, like you just find a YouTube video that is showing you 5 recipes. So maybe you reached your goals pretty fast. But yeah, it's there's a component to the goal setting that is the selective attention that you place in a certain thing that you want to make happen. So, for example, if you want to cook and learn how to cook, you will start paying attention to ads that show cooks in there. Or you will go through the supermarket more aware of the ingredients that you're looking at. And those things make small shifts within you that enhance your disposition to learn new things, to learn how to set goals.
I think, just to interrupt there quickly, what is really important, what you just briefly mentioned, is the visualization of those goals, and to sort of keep them in your mind somewhere. And through visualization, you give your mind the opportunity to already imagine how it would look like when you're actually doing this. So when you want to have those 5 new recipes that you want to cook, imagine just snippets what you have from a cooking show, from other people who have cooked, and see yourself doing that. And what it does is it creates this idea that it is possible in your mind, and makes it immediately concrete and specific. Because when it's blurry, our mind like easily drives somewhere else because it's not as clear. We don't know, it's too difficult for our mind to also, on top of going after a goal, also to figure out what exact steps you need to take. So if you give your mind the steps through visualization, your mind is like, oh cool, wait, I already figured that, it already happened, so I can repeat it. Almost like that it sounds to your mind.
Yeah. Yeah, those were the two components actually, the selective attention and visualization. So if you place those two things on top of your goals, then they're much more likely to happen. And to make sure that your goals are on track, you should check in often with them. Like not every day, but every month or every couple months throughout the year to see how are they progressing. Are you moving forward in those things that you set an intention to move forward in? Or are you just letting them go to the back burner and don't really take any action towards them? And that's about it. So just finding things that are specific, measurable, and that you can visualize and get excited about. So then you just go out and
get really excited about it. It's so important.
Yes.
Get the energy moving. So like, yes, I want to do that. Not something like draggy. Oh, yeah, somebody told me I should do some more sports. Like, damn it.
That's the thing. Like sometimes we set health goals, healthcare goals that are not connected with. We're like, I will go to the gym 3 times a week. And then you're just setting yourself up for failure if you don't feel a fire in you that wants to make that happen. So that's really important. You need to be excited. You need to be aligned with those goals. And we didn't mention it yet, but I think a really important aspect is to have those goals align with your highest version and the person that you want to become in 5 years, 10 years. Because, for example, if you want to be a successful entrepreneur, maybe learning and focusing all your attention into gardening right now is not the path forward, even though you might enjoy it. Unless you want to do entrepreneurship related to gardening. But otherwise, it's
not
like
relevant. It's not
needs to be
relevant.
aligned with your higher expression of yourself. So yeah, if bodybuilding is not in your long-term plan, maybe that's not something you will dabble on this year, not fully at least. And just make sure that your goals are aligned with the bigger picture that you have for your life. So that said, that's a bunch of information.
Yeah.
Let's.
So basically, just quickly to wrap it up, we use SMART goals, and like all the things that we just mentioned. But an important part is the really it's relevant. It's creating a fire in you, and on top of that, the visualization and sort of the selective intention in your day to day. So you really like all the time pick it up and get the energy flowing towards that goal. Create a pull towards it. And I think that was the main part, the gist of the specific SMART goals that we had.
Yeah. The more we talk, the more we break it down to just have something.
Yeah, just have something that's exciting for you. It's really exciting for you. And I guess just guide it a little bit with some outer rules or something that you actually will follow through it and it doesn't get caught up or swallowed by the day-to-day. Swallow.
Goals.
The society just swallowing your goals that you doesn't want you to achieve them. Never mind. Let's focus on the
whatever. So what I also want to mention is that there's conflicting ideas between time bound, like do you want to make it super specific, do you want to make it more generic, more like an intention setting, and I do both. I do very not specific goals. So like for example, this year I'm working on love, and that means a bunch of different things. That means learning how to love strangers, learning how to love myself through turmoil, learning how to love my family even if they're triggering the shit out of me, and all of those different things that are involved in love and relationships. And at the same time, I set up very specific goals of I want to reach out to this number of businesses. I want to have a pipeline for this and this and that. And that keeps me on track for my more specific areas, but also at the same time, it gives a overarching theme for the year. So that would be one thing. Like, you don't have to choose one or the other. Like, you can still do intention-like goals where you decide for a theme, or you say, I would like to work on the relationship with my partner or with my mother, and then you just set that intention and let it flow. That could be also a thing. And then at the same time, having more specific goals.
Yeah, so for different areas, you might also want to select the different ways of setting goals. In some areas, it might be useful to just be a bit more open. So like, I really want to focus maybe every morning to remind myself of that you have love, or to get into a flow state, to feel good. That would be, for example, my specific one, which is related to also relationships, just, the overall theme. I want to feel that feeling over and over again. But for other things, more business related, career related, more specific ones might be useful. So it's your own smartness asked. So just choose whichever way of setting goals might be better for the area that you want to set goals in.
Yes. And you can make it time bound. So like, it's within the first 6 months of the year, this year, or you can just leave it open-ended and it's like, I'll get to it at some point in my life, and that's also fine. But goals are meant to give us direction, because in this day and age, there's so much happening. There's stimuli everywhere you look. You have your phone, you have TV, you have advertisement, you have people telling you about things. So your attention can just drift and be completely swayed from here to there to whatever the current agenda is. It's like, oh, now it's all about dancing TikToks, and you're just paying attention to that. But if you have goals, then you get swayed, but not so much, and then you always go back to your center, to the thing that you were wanting to bring to the earth, the thing that you wanted to make happen in your life. Is that even a thing? Make happen?
Yes. No, it is.
Okay.
I think. Anyway, so yeah, it's really, I like to use it as sort of like a North Star. Whenever you get like derailed a little bit, you can always orient yourself again. Oh wait, when I was centered one time last year, I set the goal to be more in this state, or to go more in this direction. And that's exactly what, in general, I think goals should be for, to bring you towards a direction that you want to go to. And maybe not like write it off only when you complete it, but also checking in, oh, I achieved 70% of them, achieved 80% of them. Because again, it's the direction, it's not exactly achieving them, at least in my opinion. Because otherwise you so easily fall into the trap of, oh, I didn't achieve my goal, I failed, I shouldn't try again over. And so it's really, really useful, for me at least, to check in how far did I come, and not whether I reached it or not.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And keep in mind that goals are not fully it's not only in your control. Sometimes goals are dependent on external factors. For example, in that study that I did, people put in some places, I would like to travel more. And then COVID hit. So those goals were shattered. They couldn't get to even the airport, everything was shut down. But just keep in mind that not everything is under your control, and that's okay. Like, for example, last year I had goal of getting closer to my sister. So improving the relationship with my sister. And it was my goal. And for her, she didn't care. So then that year it didn't happen. Last year it didn't happen, and I just left it there. Just let it go. Because I was trying to to build something and she was not feeling it, and that's okay. But it was not my decision to make fully. Like, I really needed to allow for the other person's will and freedom and free will to intercede into that goal, and just accept when it doesn't happen. So also we need to be able to let go of goals and not be fully attached to the shape that they take. Because if we, for example, have a goal of traveling to 5 countries and we are very specific about those countries, but then we get the opportunity to try to travel to 5 different countries that were not the initial ones, then we can be flexible about it and not be attached to the initial image that we had about that goal.
I think that comes up when it comes also to goals, which helped me a lot, was being consistent in the effort that you put in, but flexible with the outcome. So you think about, I want to be consistent, maybe something when you want to create something. I want to, write every single day, or write once a month a blog post or something like that. So there's a specific outcome attached to it. But sometimes it might also be more useful to set a goal towards really just the effort that you put in. So the goal of writing a blog post can change towards, actually, I want to create videos every week, because that feels more aligned to me. That doesn't mean that you failed with the first writing goal that you had, but you were still consistent with the effort that you put in towards the goal. And maybe the goal is, instead of writing a blog post, the goal behind it is, I want to create something every single week. And so there you can, you see the goal might change, but the effort might stay the same.
Yeah. So that's our wisdom on goals, which is a shitload of information. And hopefully there was something new for you in there. And the idea with this is just to give more information so you're more aware of what goals are, and give somewhat of a process of how it can look like to set your New Year's resolutions. And just make it your own. Like, just take what you take and then leave the rest. Because we covered a lot of ground, and then that doesn't necessarily mean that all information is for you to swallow, just like take notes and stuff. But rather, just if there's something that resonates, if there's something you want to try, just go for it.
More like going to a supermarket and selecting specific things that you like, what we said. Or spaghetti on the wall and just see what sticks for whatever we mentioned.
Throwing spaghetti on the wall.
Yes. What did I say?
Just spaghetti on the wall.
Why you get what I mean, right? The main part is, I think, at least for me, is what are you excited about creating? What are you excited about setting a goal towards? Or how can you make the goal that you want to set, for some reason, make exciting?
Exactly. And maybe to wrap it up, maybe we share a bit of goals that we have for the upcoming year. I already said my love one.
Mine was the flow one, which is very loose, but one thing that emerged from it is some sort of daily practice that gets me moving. Right now it's Qigong, but also what we did was we danced in the morning right after the meditation to get something moving. And I notice whenever I move my body, I get more into flow and a bit out of my mind, which sometimes gets just stuck. So it's really useful for me to just move my body to get into this expansive mood that I want to be in. And movement is great for that.
Nice. For myself, I am very keen on professionalizing in my career this year. And that means setting up processes for my business, maybe finding team members that can help me with the things that I lack or I'm not interested in learning, and just learning how to run a business properly and get some momentum in there. So there's smaller goals within that, and then there's the big goal, which is I will put my focus on my career and get that moving. And more in a on that more spiritual, personal side, I want to keep play as an essential part of my life. So then that means that I will incorporate activities that are creative or funky or just ridiculous to to include creativity and play into my life. That's it. And that one doesn't have a specific anything, because the whole point of that goal and to pay attention in that area is just to let whatever happens happen. And the play can be with people, it can be by myself,
children,
and it can be with children, it can be painting, dancing, running from a squirrel, and just being a clown as I dabble in clown, and just anything. So for that one, I'm really open as the topic of the goal. It's also calling for it, for openness.
And one more specific one for me is that I'm working on a project already for quite a while, and that with that new project I am using the principle of the flow, so let it naturally emerge, yet have the goal of really expanding it and having some growth goals and really putting it out so it will reach people. So this is now, I guess, more a project that we want to do to practice a lot of things.
Mm-hmm.
And with the other project, I really feel like there's something at stake. And so I really want to put effort in there, but make sure I don't just overly get brainy, but I need to do this, and completely burn out in the process of it. So that's a nice balance I will go into with specific goals towards reaching a lot of people with it too.
Yeah. All right.
Done.
Good talk. Then we wish you the best of luck in your goal setting process. Hopefully you find a theme for your year, or a specific goal, or a couple of specific goals that you want to set for yourself, and just
The play is coming in.
Pay attention. And just pay attention to those things for a while.
And I think another tiny thing that just came to my mind is it's for the long run. It's not for the next 3 months. The goals that I set are for long term. The goals I set also for the project is I want to become a different person in the process. Not just setting a random goal and just achieve it, because that's, to me, pointless. Mm-hmm. But I want to become a different person in the process of it. So yeah, I hope you took something out of it. If not, or if you want to clarify, just reach out. Happy to talk to you about it. And otherwise, have an awesome 2023 with a lot of flow and a lot of love.
Yeah. Okay.
That's it.
See you. Mwah, mwah.